This is 10 Minutes at the Bar with Mike Teen. You give us 10 minutes. He gives you the world of Miami law.
Welcome. This is episode 26 of 10 Minutes at the Bar. And our guest today is the great Roland Sanchez-Medina. Roland, in my opinion, and that of many others, is simply the premier business transaction lawyer in Miami. Roland, welcome. You are a homegrown Miamian. And you went to undergrad and got a
BA in Finance and Economics.
And then decided instead of making money the easy way, you would go and become a lawyer.
The S&M route, that's correct.
Right.
Went to law school at Boston College, got my JD, and then got a Master's of Law in Taxation at New York University.
Oh, because you're one of the real smart ones. Yes.
I'm not sure I think of that right now,
that's
but
for sure. And then, so you have started your own law firm. How long has SMGQ been in existence?
I believe we're in our 8th year now.
Wow. So it's a gorgeous mid-sized transactional and litigation boutique here in Coral Gables. By the way, we are at Cafe Demetrio, the coolest old school Florida little cafe here in Coral Gables. Because we always like to do this in a coffee shop, you know.
This was perfect.
This is the first time we've done it here.
Perfect.
So SMGQ is Sanchez-Medina, Gonzalez, and Quesada. And the Quesada is Emmy Quesada, right?
Emmy, and can't leave out Pablo because...
let's just leave him out.
Okay, we'll just say Emmy.
It's just Emmy.
Okay.
And the Gonzalez is Peter Gonzalez, a great litigator.
Who you've dealt with before?
A wonderful litigator who is eventually going to be on this. But I said it's age before beauty, so we've got you.
He's going to repeat that an inordinate amount of times.
I know. He's actually too funny for this thing, and I'll just get upstage. So anyway, you can tell him that too.
Yeah. He's very talented.
He is. So, and let's talk about you a little bit more. So, Roland, you are on the Florida Bar Board of Governors.
I am.
And you've been there for how long?
I'm in my 5th year in the Board of Governors from the 11th Circuit, one of the 8 people that's serving from the 11th Circuit.
5th year, and there's an election every 2 years.
That's correct.
So you've managed to beat all your challengers and discourage them from putting their names in the hat, or?
I just started my 5th year, so I've been fortunate that no one's elected or run against me.
Yeah, good, because if someone does that, we're going to do another podcast about them, okay? So
that's what I love to hear.
The power of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, and you were president of CABA, the Cuban American Bar Association?
Everything that I've done from a extra professional, extracurricular activity, I attribute to starting with CABA, the Cuban American Bar Association.
Really? Tell us about that.
It's just it's an organization that taught me about leadership. It taught me about giving back to lawyers. It allowed me the opportunity to interact with other voluntary bar organizations. I got a chance to meet other leaders from the different voluntary bar groups, and encouraged me to continue giving service. I love CABA.
Wow. Can you talk about that a little bit in terms of the advice that you give to young lawyers who want to come out and be transactional business lawyers? And it seems that you have just had a tremendous part of your life has been community activities. And how is that played in, and is that part of what you would advise a young lawyer to do if they wanted to become like Roland Sanchez-Medina?
Well, right now in my life, I try to do 3 things. The Board of Governors of the Florida Bar is time-consuming. I dedicate a lot of time to that. From a business perspective, I love being a member of the Orange Bowl community.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So I love college football, and it really is it's a tourist opportunity. So it's an opportunity to tell everyone what a wonderful place we live in South Florida.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then another organization called Leadership Florida. So I try to do those 3, but I will tell you, as a younger attorney, I did the shotgun approach where I would do 10 things, right? And so I would do 8 poorly and 2, I was mediocre at, right? And so any recommendation would be find just 2 or 3 organizations that you want to do, but you have to like what they do, whatever it may be. Because if you don't like what they do and you don't like the service, you don't like their services they provide, or you don't like the particular committee, you're not going to be involved. You're not going to make time for the organization. So do a few of them, do them really well, be all in, but it's got to be something you like. If it involves sailboats and you hate sailing, you're not gonna get involved.
Why did you become a lawyer, Roland?
I would love to say it was some kind of master plan. For me, it was more a default. My father was an orthopedic surgeon. When I was growing up, I must have seen 100 surgeries. I thought I was going to go that route, but I just didn't. I didn't have it. I wasn't fully in with going to med school.
It's
so
really gross.
It's not for everybody. My oldest daughter actually is a senior in college, and it looks like she's going to go to med school. So I'm glad one of us is following in my father's footsteps. But it just wasn't in the cards, and I didn't think business school was an opportunity. But listen, it's one of the best decisions I've ever made, and it not exactly thought out properly, but sometimes under it's better to be lucky than good.
So let's talk a little bit more about this. Orange Bowl Committee, Florida Bar Board of Governors, CABA president. How did you know coming out of law school that getting involved in all these organizations was a great thing to do for being a lawyer? I'll tell you, I'll confess, I didn't. I was a geek. I would just, practiced law. I just spent the time in the library, tried to get in the courtroom, and I didn't get involved in that stuff. How did you know?
It's I've been asked that question before, and I think my roots in it go back to high school, and I went to Belen Jesuit Prep. The motto of the school is "A man for others," and I don't want to glorify it too much, but
no, it has that reputation here in Miami.
That's exactly right, and I think part of it is to give back, right? I mean, do what you do and do it well professionally, but also give back to the community, give back to your fellow man, and I mean that's. And I'm not the first one at Belen to do that, right? So I'm convinced part of this. It's one of those things that as a child, in my formative years, you heard it so much that it really stuck with me.
That's good stuff. What do you do to encourage the young lawyers in your firm to follow that path?
I sit down together with them and I say, listen, let's find out 2 or 3 or 4 things that you really like to do. Let me know how I can help you, whether it's CABA, whether it's the DCBA, Wilkie Ferguson, Fall. I tell them it's a wonderful opportunity to meet some of your colleagues in this profession, and I will tell you, I also, this is hokey, but I believe lawyers, as a general rule, whether they give politically or they give for charitable causes, do so much good in our community. And
it's not hokey, and you live by those words. I mean, my gosh, on the Florida Bar Board of Governors, what is it, 4 or 5? How many meetings a year is it?
It's 5 meetings a year, many committee meetings. But I got to tell you, I love it. I mean, I really do. It's one of those things that maybe because of my background, maybe I was being ultra ambitious, right? So once again, you're doing something because you think it's the proper path to go, and then when you get there, it exceeded my expectations.
Wow.
Yeah. Smart people, kind, good people who give a shit about our profession,
right,
are trying to improve it, want to make life better for lawyers, understand the issues that we have because they're practicing lawyers. There's not anybody in there that's, maybe really, really young and, just starting, or extremely old and maybe on the other side of their legal careers. They're practicing day in and day out. So they understand the issues that we have. And we have many, many issues. We have...
well, I have a lot of issues. Is that what you're referring to?
I meant professionally, right?
No.
No. You don't look like you have that many issues, though, Michael.
That's for another podcast.
I mean, other than being very shy. You're a very shy guy.
So tell us litigators a little bit, Roland, about like what's so great to you about being a transactional lawyer?
It's interesting that you say that because I think I've realized that more recently, more than ever, I just don't like to fight at the level that the litigators fight,
I love
right?
It. Yep.
I mean, I'm, as the saying goes, I'm a lover, not a fighter. So, when you're working on a transaction, you can be completely intransigent, and you could be, I am not allowing this to change this paragraph whatsoever, and then the deal doesn't close, and then you lose your client because lawyers that can't close deals don't get other deals, right?
Yep.
And so you find a way to work with your client, say, listen, I think we can give in here, but maybe there we have to, be a little bit more finite about what we need. So it's really the concept of putting things together, right? Things have to work. You have to compromise. Litigators, from my experience, and more so today than ever, scorched earth.
Yeah.
Go, blank you. No, blank you.
Too much.
It's too much. And so, I've been dealing recently with, a couple of clients that have been more on that level, and I'm just not enjoying it, right? It's like literally everything's a fight and a tangle. And like I said, I would rather work on a compromise to have some common principles, sign the agreement up, close the deal, let's go on to the next one.
Good words. What's been your, let's say, one of your proudest moments as a lawyer, Roland?
I would forming my firm with Peter Gonzalez and Emmy Quesada and Paulo Quesada. At the time, it was an opportunity to affiliate with people that I really liked, guys that I really, and ladies who I like to spend time with, and then and then working together and forming a larger firm. And this just as well as I do. How much what percentage of our waking time do we spend at work?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pretty much. And so, it's work. So if they weren't paying, you probably wouldn't be doing it, right? And so forming a place that's harmonious, people get along, we laugh, we pay for our bills, and it's been very rewarding in that regard.
And the way you and I really first met was working on a judicial campaign of one of our really, really great circuit court judges here in Miami-Dade, and I know you've done a lot of that, and it's really a meaningful thing for our community.
Well, I got to tell you, I although like I said I don't litigate, I do believe that for most people the opportunity to see a judge is the representation of justice in this country, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have a judge that's not patient, that's not considerate, that's not even-handed, right? I mean, that doesn't give an opportunity for whomever the case may be, whoever's in front of them, to see some level of compassion. You got to go, right? And then on the other hand, people who do that successfully, and I think the vast majority of judges in Miami-Dade County, we've been very fortunate.
Yeah, we have a great bench.
We have a great bench, and so I want to see, if my kids are in front of the judge, if my dad's in front of the judge, I want to see somebody who's a good person, who's a smart person, who do I want them to rule in my favor? Of course I do. But that being said, we're given the facts that we're given.
Due process.
We want some due process. Thank you very much. And like I said, to me that's extremely important. And we're very lucky. I mean, listen, every once in a while they become our friends.
Yep.
And I so many of them that I admire. And it's public service, and
it's a very difficult job.
It's a very difficult job. And I need to tell you, I mean, the patience that some of them show is beyond the realm.
It is, especially when I'm in the courtroom.
I've seen the courtroom.
We're
Michael.
way over.
You're not too bad. Not too bad.
We're way over our 10 minutes, but this has been so much fun. Roland, you're such a brilliant lawyer and such a role model. Let me ask you this final question. What do you have a motto or a code that you practice by, or that you teach others to practice by, and that you try to follow yourself?
It's something that I tell my son a lot, because he seems to make a lot of mistakes, is that everyone makes mistakes. And let's just not try to repeat them. I don't know. That's the first one that came to mind. Maybe every morning I make so many of them.
No, you don't, Roland. It's so great. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm proud to be your colleague. Really am.
Well, thank you for having me, Michael.
Our pleasure.